Hey, happy Monday. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and the big story for this week, we're calm today, we're calm tomorrow. Big changes on Wednesday with a 60-plus degree temperature drop and potentially our coldest air in over 30 years arriving for us on Wednesday night and into your Thursday. Well, details on all of it for you. That will be accompanied by some snowfall for us along the Front Range as well, but hard to believe based on this view. Nothing but crystal blue skies outside right now. Did have a few lenticular mountain wave clouds overhead earlier on this morning, but those temperatures on the nice side already for us, and we're going to be probably talking about a few spots that could touch 50 degrees, especially on Wednesday. So today and tomorrow, we're mild, we're calm. Wednesday evening, right now, looks like the front moves through Wednesday afternoon, and that will be accompanied by, as I mentioned, a little bit of snow for us. Still some details about that, but it does look like we should be talking about a couple of inches of fluffy snow for us on Wednesday night. But the story here, folks, the cold will be something unlike that we haven't seen in decades, potentially for us here on your Thursday. HD Doppler radar, this is fun from a geeky standpoint. What you're seeing there in eastern Colorado, that is not cloud cover. That is the leftover snow from last week's blizzard that you're still seeing out there. And by the way, temperatures much colder in that part of the state because of that snowpack that is keeping that cold air insulated close to the surface. Forecast. Again, today, tomorrow, we're fine. It's not until late, very late tomorrow night, probably more into Wednesday morning where that first bit of snow arrives through the mountains. And then for us along the Front Range, it will not be until probably Wednesday after dark when we'll see that snow move its way into the picture for us. Meantime, temperatures right now, single digits and teens for us in the mountains. By the way, the big fluctuation in temperatures, let's get a little geeky here, that is due to an inversion. That is normally as you go up, temperatures cool down, but sometimes those temperatures actually kind of magically spike as you go up in elevation a little bit, and that in the atmosphere a little bit, and that kind of traps in that cold air. In Kremling, of course, you're in a valley and you got a little lid of warm air just above the surface. That's why those temperatures in the single digits there. Meantime, Leadville, despite the fact that Leadville is at 10,000 plus feet, 24 degrees, much warmer than Kremling, despite the fact that Kremling is 3,000 feet lower than Leadville. Today, mid-40s for us here into the Denver area, seasonably chilly, and tonight we'll drop down into the mid-teens for us, increasing cloud cover late tonight, but I think we'll be mostly on the clear side, at least earlier on this evening. Tomorrow, we'll see those clouds increase, especially for the back half of the day, maybe a tick cooler tomorrow because of that added cloud cover. We're looking for a high in the low to mid-40s for us tomorrow, but this is about seasonal. This is normally one of our coldest weeks of the year for us in the Denver area, and it's certainly going to live up to that. Mountains, 20s and 30s for us, 40s for the most part on the eastern plains, few 50s for our friends in the southeastern corner of the state. Then look at this as we look ahead to Wednesday. This is going to be stunning. Look at this. This computer forecast model, this is the European model, calling for temperature of about 50 degrees around 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. And then watch what happens here, folks. Wow. In about 13 hours, that temperature will go from about 50 in Denver down to about minus 15. That would mark a 65 to 70 degree temperature drop in under 18 hours for us. And this, again, taking place between Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning. It will be stark, it will be stunning, and those temperatures will be rivaling some of the coldest temperatures that we've seen in the last 30 plus years here along the Front Range. The good news, I suppose, with this is that this is a fairly short-lived cold spell. These really cold temperatures will hang around for probably about 36 hours, and then by Friday we should start to get out of the real brutal cold. But it's gonna be nasty, no doubt about this. Wednesday night through Friday morning, there is a wind chill watch that's in place for most of Colorado. Wind chill, this is the number that really matters here, folks. That's the number that you feel on your skin as you step outside. And that wind chill will be as low as minus 50 here in the Denver area. When we're talking about a minus 50 wind chill, that is unlike anything that we have seen since 1975. The lowest wind chill that we've recorded in Denver since that wind chill metric started back in the mid-1970s, minus 43. So again, when we're talking about wind chill, minus 45, minus 50, that is unlike anything that you've probably ever felt here along the Front Range. Very dangerous stuff. And again, I'm not trying to scare you or anything. I'm trying to say this because this is not just, it's December cold, it's midwinter cold. This is not, oh, this happens once every couple of years kind of cold. This is something that we haven't seen in decades for us along the Front Range. We're talking about wind chills in the minus 40 or lower range. Futurecast. Let's kind of walk you through that forecast. This is along the front, moves through, as I mentioned, that cold front initially arrives between about kind of 3 to 6 p.m. on Wednesday, maybe end up being a tick earlier than that. We'll say, let's say 2 to 6 p.m. on Wednesday, that powerful front arrives, starts plunging those temperatures, and along the front, we'll see some of that snow develop for us on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, most likely after dark, and by Thursday morning, most of the snow over and done with, a few leftover flakes in southern Colorado, and that'll leave behind those brutally cold temperatures on your Thursday. Looking at a few inches worth of snowfall likely for us. Mountains, especially the northern mountains, should do fairly well from this. 5 to 10 inches likely for us along the north of I-70. South of I-70, those totals get notably lighter, about 3 to 6 inches for most of us south of the interstate. Closer look in at the Front Range. This is the European model, calling for a good 2 to 5 inches worth of snowfall in the immediate metro area. Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin, who's behind here, we were just talking about this for a second ago, maybe a little lighter than this. These totals, these amounts tend to be maybe a little overdone in these sorts of setups. So generally speaking, look for about 2, 3, 4 inches worth of snowfall for us on Wednesday night. Most of this, again, Wednesday night after dark, and then by Thursday morning, most of the snow south and east of the Front Range. But the story, I mentioned the snow there. The story, there is no doubt about it. It is that absolute brutal cold for us on your Thursday. That's a high air temperature of 5 below zero. We have not had a high temperature below zero since 2014. But the number, as I mentioned, that really matters is when you combined the air temperature with the wind, and that wind chill will feel like minus 40 to minus 50. That is unlike anything that we've experienced in the last 3+ decades. I mentioned a bit of good news though. This doesn't last all that long. By Friday, those temperatures in the teens, that'll feel like Maui compared to Thursday. And then by Saturday, Sunday, that'll feel really nice. We'll be back in the 50s. But as I mentioned, all emphasis here on Thursday, there's a good chance in terms of wind chill, in terms of high temperatures, in terms of low temperatures, that this may end up being our coldest day since December of 1990 for us here in Denver. We've not dropped down to minus 20 since December 1990. This is that kind of cold for us here, folks. So again, they're not trying to scare you or anything, but I just want to get the point across that this is not just another winter day kind of cold. This is extreme stuff. You should not be spending any sort of time outdoors. Frostbite will set in for any exposed skin after 10 minutes when we're talking about this kind of cold. So please here, folks, use all that cold weather precaution, because it's going to be straight up nasty here on Thursday. There's no doubt about it. But by the time we get to the upcoming weekend and Christmas Day, hey, we're going to be in the 50s, and we'll probably have a few inches of snow on the ground as well, though that will probably melt with those temperatures in the 50s by this weekend. I mentioned Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is right behind that TV screen. She'll have an update for you coming up at 4 and 5 here on 9 News. She's back, so I'm sure plenty of you happy about that. And then also tonight, we'll have meteorologist Lauren Robinson at 6, 9, and 10 on the 9 News family of networks as well. Thanks again for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Stay warm on Thursday and have a great rest of your week.